Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter. I am your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on Sports Illustrated and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. I appreciate you all joining me today. I'm getting a ton of email based on what Antonio Pierce said yesterday about Davante Adams. People are asking me, is there a chance that Davante would stay with this team? So here's what I want to tell you. Do I think it is possible that he stays? I do. I realize that's an unpopular opinion. I realize a lot of people think that that's not the case. I know there was a time that I thought that was not the case, but I'll just leave it there. If the Raiders can't get what they want, um, I think there is a very good chance, not a very good chance. I think there's a chance that he could absolutely stay. Do I think that's what both parties want? That's not what they'll say publicly, but I absolutely uh, do. I think that's what they want? Sure, I think they would say that publicly. I do not believe that at all. But to just put it out there, do I still think he gets traded? Yes, I do. Do I think there's a chance he would be here? Yes. I think it's a very slim chance. I think there's a very narrow window of how that happens. So I think the percentages are more that he gets traded. But I told you last week I thought he'd be traded, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week. If the Steelers remain in play, I told you I didn't think that he would be traded, to the Steelers until after the Steeler game. So I want to make it clear. I am not saying he's going to be back. However, and I realize this is a very unpopular opinion, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I could see a narrow window of opportunity that it would happen. So I'm always going to give you the latest information. I totally admit I didn't think that was the case um, before this morning, but now I could see a small sliver of opportunity. Still think that he would get traded, but I certainly see that as a definite, can't be ruled out. Can't be ruled out. And again, I don't think that's what either party wants, but I think circumstances could dictate it. We'll wait and see how all of that's going to happen. I mean, if the Raiders aren't willing to eat some of his salary or whatever, there's a lot of different reasons, but it could preclude something, and then he end up having to come back. We'll find out, and we'll see. But uh, prior to this morning was vociferous that I didn't think it was going to happen. That would happen. I still don't, but now at least I see it as a possibility with a sliver of potential. So we're going to keep our eyes on that real good. Let's take another second and let's talk about Aiden O'Connell. The Raiders, uh, I there were a lot of people in this building, certainly not all, but a lot. I would maybe even say a majority, but that would be only my personal opinion, that felt like Aiden O'Connell was the better quarterback coming out of camp. I know there were people who said to me, you got a $25 million free agent, and he couldn't pull away from a mid-round guy coming off his his rookie year. And they felt there was more upside. I know going into training camp, the Raiders didn't know enough about what they had in Aiden just because of last year having a makeshift coaching staff. They didn't know enough of what they had. And that's why they went into this year saying, okay, we're going to make the team better. We're going to find out what we have at quarterback, and then we can move forward in 25. So here's some keys. I was asked on a national radio show, how does Aiden keep his job? No turnovers. Just avoid turnovers. Now, I told you in training camp he had plenty of them. We all know what he had in preseason, and that cost him the job. But If you go back to that Bronco game, Minshew throws the terrible pick six. He's throwing it to Bowers, but doesn't go anywhere near him, gets picked off, pick six. The team just falls apart. Falls apart. Literally falls apart. That said, and I'll get into this in a minute, I mean, the team just demonstrated no mental toughness and collapsed. If he would have just thrown the ball and it was a bad pass and not been intercepted, the Raiders could have gotten a touchdown. They would have almost certainly, with Daniel Carlson, gotten a field goal. And then they're up 13-3, or if they get the touchdown, 17-3. But that one turnover, the game just turned on it. Turnovers are priceless in this business of professional football. Turnovers are killers. They're straight dog killers. And so that is why it is critically important for ball security. I think that's going to be a very big deal. And I know because AP said it earlier today, maybe it was yesterday, but AP has already said uh, that was a huge thing. And or maybe it was Luke Getzey that talked about, the turnovers being the big key. By the way, you can watch all the video of Getzey and Patrick Graham's presser, or you can listen to the audio as well. Now, staying on this vein, Aiden simply has to be able to not turn the ball over, but Antonio Pierce likes him and he trusts him. He knows he's going to put his foot in the ground and get the ball down the field. He knows they have to pass to set up the run, especially this week where they're going against the Steel Men, which are going to pack the box and dare the Raiders to throw. And so they don't need a guy dancing with happy feet. Now, they do need him to move. And there's going to be times when he can take off and run and he needs to do it. But they need him to stay in that pocket to the last second, take that hit, and deliver the ball downfield. Get that ball to a receiver or a tight end. Why? Because the Raiders know what the Steelers are going to do, and they're going to have to use the pass to set up the run. Remember, when the Raiders are able to be balanced, Luke Getzey's offense has been extremely impressive. If you go back and look at the Broncos game, 3 drives, 3, and look at what the Raiders did prior to that pick six, Luke Getzey's offense was humming. Multiple players involved, pass, run, all kinds of new looks, new wrinkles. That's the stuff they want to do. They want to be creatively aggressive. But when a team makes you one-dimensional or you choose to be one-dimensional, then you can't be creative. That is why a fast start's imperative, and that's why Aiden O'Connell gives them such a good option, because he's got a bigger arm to get the ball down the field. He can put it anywhere. And he's got that ability for the team to use him to use the pass to set up the run. The Raiders have been a roller coaster, really, for the whole 5 years I've covered them. So you'd look at last week and think, man, this team should lose. The Steelers are a good team. But the way they roller coaster, it's hard not to pick a win here. Now, had a couple of players reach out to me, and I wanted to acknowledge them because I talked about on the podcast that this loss was not on coaching. This loss was on the players. And they agreed with me. I've been doing this for decades. This is, I think, only the third time, may have been the second, but I think it was only the third time where I put a loss strictly on players only. I've put losses on coaches only, and the team, but only the third time players only. This staff had them ready to go. They mentally collapsed, not the coaches. And the players agreed, by the way. They agreed with me. So that's a very big deal. Now, I told you that I noticed something, and I watched the film 3 times. Against Carolina, you could see some people making business decisions. You could see it. When you looked at this team, when you looked and you watched them against the Broncos, nobody quit. There were a lot of bad plays and there were a lot of mistakes, but there's a difference between that and quitting. You didn't see it. And I'm going to tell you, AP agreed with me when I talked to him about it, and the players agreed that, hey, you're right. Colton Miller and I talked about it yesterday. There was no quit. There was almost guys trying too hard, and you can't do that. That is why Belichick preached, do your job. Just do your job. If the guy next to you messes up, you just do your job. But when you got guys trying to play two linebacker positions or two lineman positions or whatever, that's where you get in to a lot of trouble. It's where you absolutely get into some real nightmare scenarios that are not good for the team. Now, I want to move forward with this. There is a team that's on the Raiders' schedule, and they have 12 games left that the Raiders have coming up as one of their 12 games. I reached out to a very good friend who's an executive at one of those teams and asked him if he's happened to watch any Raider film. And he told me that he had. And I asked him what he thought of the last game. And without him knowing even what I said, he goes, it was a whole different loss than that Carolina blankety blank, blank, blank. And I said, in what way? He said, you could tell they were panicked that there was going to be a loss and you had too many guys trying to do too many things. He goes, there was no business decisions to be called out because everybody's effort was there. He goes, it was almost as if they were trying too hard. And he echoed what my sentiments were. So I feel good about what I told you. I thought that was very germane. Now, I'm going to get to the rookies in a minute, but the last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll kind of break down the game after the rookies. But the next thing I want to talk about is Antonio Pierce. Many of you know my philosophy with a coach is I give them 20 games and then I judge them completely different. You've got a coach coming in, you're going to find out on his staff, is there some guys that fit, some that don't? What about guys you've drafted, free agents? What about guys you got to get rid of? That's why you give them 20 games. I understand Raider Nation's anger, and I think it's warranted at an organization that sells you on just win, baby, that it's been nothing but a roller coaster for decades. I respect that, and it's truthful. And I would never try to convince you differently. You're entitled to any opinion that you want. However, I would also additionally say this to you. You got to give AP his 20 games. You got to give him all this year. Let him make the changes he thinks that are needed, then go into next year. Next year, if Aiden's not the guy, then they're going to come in with a new quarterback and all that goes into that. But I've not seen anything from Antonio Pierce that has convinced me that this is a job that's too big for him. I have a couple guys on his staff that I'm keeping an eye on. I think it's way too early to make any final judgments. There's some guys here I think that need to go as far as players that, probably be best to move on from. But I think he is in doing a very good job. And I can tell you without a doubt, has not lost his team. And they were grateful and told me that they appreciated me and what I said about Antonio on my podcast. Now, I want to talk about the rookies. Okay, what about Delmar DJ Glaze? That guy, he is playing terrific. Now, listen, him and JPJ, both penalties, but they're rookies. Rookies make rookie mistakes. I don't know if I've told you a story or not. First day I get my driver's license, I'm 16 years old. My dad says, "You want to take my truck to school?" Yeah, boom, grab the keys. Now this is what it was like back in my day. I don't know what it's like today, but you go down to the Secretary of State, 7 o'clock in the morning when they open. You got your driver's license. on your 16th birthday. I get so excited, get in the truck, put it in park. I mean, in reverse. I drive right through the garage door. I did. I was a 16-year-old kid driving for my first time on my own. Okay. Learning curve. Now, sitting here today at 53, 37 years later, I'm not driving through garage doors. I don't have a problem with rookie mistakes. I have a problem with veterans making rookie mistakes. I shared that with you before. I thought that was a line from one of my Twitter followers. I thought it was fantastic. But Delmar DJ Glaze, this guy, I told you after the draft, the first 2 days of Senior Bowl, he was the worst lineman at the Senior Bowl, took coaching, wanted it. This kid is just like a Pac-Man. Give me wisdom. Give me. I mean, this kid, I don't know his family. To the best of my knowledge, I've never met him. They raised a kid here who isn't some entitled brat. He wants to be coached. He wants to be coached hard. He wants to be successful. And so they saw it at the Senior Bowl. Whoa, this kid's teachable. And then he ended up being the best lineman at the Senior Bowl. Raiders got him. I told you the draft. A lot of people were mad about the pick. I said they stole him, and they did. He's playing terrific. DJ Glaze. I got to come up with a nickname for old Delmar. But that kid's playing out of his mind. And the team, it's impossible not to love this kid. I mean, his face lights up. He's just a great kid. I'm going to have a video up of him, if not today, tomorrow. Of him and I did an exclusive interview at his locker. I think you'll really like it. But this kid, I mean, on the field, when you turn on the film, it's like, I mean, he's just mean. You talk to him off the field, he is just as gentle as my wife's teacup Maltese. I mean, he's just friendly. He's such a nice kid. And so it's just fun to watch him grow. And then JPJ, same way. Great kid, tough as nails now. They keep getting warnings from the refs. You better tell him to back down. He's bringing the physicality. These two rookies playing great. Put the penalties to the side. That's a learning mistake. That's we're not going to have those next year, but you're going to have more. Delmar, DJ Glaze, Jackson Powers, Johnson, JP. You're going to have them. There's going to be penalties this year because you're going to get them from rookies. Okay. But JPJ, man, he looks like a jujitsu fighter. He gets in that phone booth and he almost is like a wrestler. I'm just going to take you to the ground. Love it. Love it. Love watching the physicality of those two kids, man. And they are kids. I'm 53. They're kids to me, and they are. And if you spend any time with them, they're both kids. Just wonderful kids. Okay, let's go to Tommy freaking Eichenberg. I did an exclusive interview with him at his locker the other day. You'll see that probably tomorrow. How about him? Yup, there were some mistakes, but man, he played well. He made some reads. It's the same way with him, Brock Bowers, Delmar, DJ Glaze, Jackson Powers, Johnson, JPJ. You can't teach instinct. You can't teach the love of physicality. You can't teach that. You either have it or you don't. And those four rookies, man, they want to punch you in the face. They want to have a street fight. I love it. Fun to watch. Fun to watch. So look at Brock playing like a superstar already. I mean, that guy's playing like a seasoned vet. If the Raiders keep engaging him, I don't know how he's not going to get tons of accolades. I mean, he's already playing at a Pro Bowl level. But Tommy getting those reps, had a good visit with Divine Diablo. He's coming. He's coming. Good for him. great guy. But I'm just telling you, those 4 rookies, that's a super big deal. All right, let's turn our attention very quickly. Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going to load the box. Raiders are going to have to use the pass to set up the run. Going to have to. That's just the way it's going to have to be. If they're able to get to the creativity of the Luke Getsy, they're going to be fine. And I think they'll win the ball game. If they're not able to get to his creativity, I just don't see a way that they win. Because they're not going to run the football the way the Steelers are going to start the game. They're going to have to move them out of the box. It's going to be a pass to run game. Comes down to that. Because of the roller coaster, I think you almost have to go with the Raiders here. We're going to find out. Oh, lastly, coming up, next Wednesday is our next members only. Make sure you're paying attention for that, members. We'll have all the details probably coming to you on Monday. If you're a member of this channel, make sure you email me. If you're a new member, your name, your email, your phone number, and your YouTube username. Got to have those 4 things. You'll get sent an invitation. If you want to become a member, it's $4.99 a month. We're never making the podcast private. We're not doing that. Nothing's changing for you. Nobody has to do it. We're not threatening you. If you don't become a member, you're losing content. You're not losing anything. This is just additional content. Twice a month, we meet with the members because I get so many emails. I can't answer everybody's question, but I can from the members when we have these member sessions. So if you're not a member, join. If you are, make sure you're watching Monday. We'll have a special video up just for you with details of our next meeting. From here at the facility, thanks for joining me today, everybody. God bless you. It's Thursday afternoon. We'll see you Friday.